Astrology found me in 2021 during the pandemic. I remember very clearly that I was doing some ironing in my front room. The telly was on in the background, and I remember looking out the window and seeing the moon. And I just suddenly had this insight of how can humans be so naive to think that a piece of rock that has been with the earth since the beginning of time, that pulls billions of gallons of water every single day, can't have an effect on the water in our bodies. And from there, I just became obsessed with wanting to understand the moon, astrology in general. I did an online course, just like a cheap one on Udemy. And I remember finding it fascinating and really being able to identify the people in my life that had the signs that she was talking about. And from there, I started doing other courses, a little bit more advanced. And finally, I found a course that had a certificate, which is what I really wanted, was to get a certificate that was something of evidence. And then I started with the London School of Astrology in 2023. Something that I found so useful that kind of weaved together science and spirituality, which for me is perfect because I love having that scientific reasoning, justification to some extent, because astrology is a lot of maths. It is a lot of science based on the exact position of the planets. And I'd always felt this calling for spirituality, for alternative healing. I've been working with crystals for more than 20 years. And this just seemed to be another rung in the ladder. I felt like in some way they could work together. At one point, I remember getting overly obsessed with astrology, as you can do. You can really get into it and it ends up not ruling your life, but you can, a bit like tarot, I think, because I remember starting tarot at one point, that you can start picking up a tarot card every day and having it dictate your day or how you should feel. And astrology is the same. You can use an app, start looking at that app every day, getting ideas about how your day is going to go. And that can be useful to a certain point. But I think it is certainly my kind of mind can get really obsessed with that. So I meditated a lot on it. I tried to understand why I was feeling this obsession so much. And the message I got was that crystals would always be my base, my grounding, and that I had to in some way bring crystals into the astrology, or at least use them together rather than exclusively. And that made a lot of sense to me because I think I'd always trusted that crystals had a vibration, had meaning, had something that they could help us with. But I could be quite lazy with them in the sense of not really finding out for myself what those meanings were, preferring to go to a book, which I'm sure, most of us do that, don't they? It's much easier. But my work with crystals really does require me to tune into those crystals so that I really know how they can help the people that I'm working with if I want to combine that together with the astrology that I'm learning. And so astrology has been this incredible journey of self-understanding, self-undoing. But as I'm sure that you know as well, what happens is that as you unravel one thing or one experience in your past, something traumatic or something that you didn't even know was stuck inside your psyche, something else comes up. And so astrology gave me this different tool to actually identify those different parts of the psyche and understand how they might be expressing in my life and how I could work with them more consciously. And for me, that was a real revelation because it almost meant getting a head start on working on myself. It also gave me great insight into the people around me. And it's not that we end up accepting or justifying the actions of others, especially if they've been hurtful, but it does allow us to forgive in a different way, in a way that gives us peace, that allows us to move forward. There's an acceptance of how people are, that they're on their own journey. And we know this intellectually anyway, especially if you've been on this spiritual path for a while. But there's something about, with astrology, it kind of gives you an idea. I mean, if you believe in karma as well, it does talk to you about karmic patterns in a much clearer way. And so you can work with that as well. Especially if you're in a partnership, I'm married, it's given me this tool to be able to understand my husband's energy, know when I should pull back. There's just a different dynamic in our relationship because I'm more aware of his planetary expressions, his character, based on what I've learned from the astrology. And so I've dipped in and out of it. Obviously, since I've been doing this course, there are times when I'm much more fully in it, and then other times when I kind of pull back and focus again on my crystals, on my own practices, because essentially the key point on my channel is about, yes, this is about a deeper level of understanding that you get with astrology. And yes, crystals can support us in our day-to-day life, but more than anything, this is about you getting in touch with something deeper inside you. Your own inner guidance system, your own intuition, your own heart's voice, because this is where that confidence, that real wisdom, that self-belief really comes from. Everything else is just a tool to get you there, and everything else you will leave behind at some point. And so every now and then I have to remind myself of that, to leave those tools and to come back to my own inner truth. And it gives me some incredible insights, beautiful information that I can share with you here or in my courses or one-to-one. So this is the idea with the channel. It's about helping you to unravel those different parts of yourself, understand yourself on a deeper level, but essentially come back to trusting yourself, to connecting with something deep within yourself that isn't the body, that isn't the mind, and there isn't anything else that you can perceive. It's a wholeness. It's the space that exists from which everything else manifests, and you are a part of that. Everything else is an add-on. I hope you're enjoying what I'm doing here on the channel. If you haven't already subscribed, then please do. And if you want to know more about me or work with me, then just drop me an email. I'm really easy to connect with. I also have a newsletter which goes out bi-monthly. My emails are just a fun way to give you ideas, give you tips for working with the current energy, and to remind you to stay in touch with that part of yourself that knows the map. They say in astrology that your astrological birth chart is etched on your heart. And so your heart knows the way. It knows how to help you evolve, to help you move through the difficult things. And also how you can help others to do the same. And that's a big part of my work as well, helping you as a person who wants to evolve, that is working on yourself, to then go out into the world, to shine your light and to help others. Thank you for being here with me.